Hi everyone, welcome back to my lab and today's video, which is going to be a look inspired by my makeup wish list. I really love the idea of a perfectly curated makeup collection and I'm slowly making my way to that. But in reality, what I have right now is a makeup hoard. And so I'm really trying to narrow down my preferences and favorite formulas and really minimize what is coming in. I have quite a few items on my wish list. I get influenced just like anybody else. And so I want to look at my existing collection and see if I can find items that will function similarly. Before we get into the video, if you're new here, I'm Yori. Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. I hope you're going to enjoy it. And if so, then please hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see me again. Now, without any further delay, let's go ahead and get into the video. The first two items that are on my wish list kind of go hand in hand. The first one is the skin tint from Hourglass. A lot of people in my age group, I am 46 years old, have more mature skin. My concerns are really dry skin, so I love a skin tint. A lot of the reviewers that I see within my age group and my skin concerns have really been loving that foundation or skin tint. I saw a lot of people put it in their favorites videos. So it's been one that I've been really curious about, but I do have a skin tint, which I have tried before. It is the one from Eldridge. I have mine in the shade T6. And it's one that I've been experimenting with a little bit. I've worn it before and I like it. I don't yet love it. So today I'm going to try mixing it with a luminizer product, which incidentally is the second item on my wish list. It's one of those Dior Star luminizers, which essentially to me seems like one of the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filters, the Eldridge liquid luminizers, or the Glow Lust product from Auric. Whenever I've worn the Eldridge skin tint, I found that the shade it's kind of a little light for me, so I decided to use the shade Selenite. I do have a couple of these in my collection already, as I think that it'll give me just a tiny little bit of an olive to the Eldridge skin tint and maybe add a tad bit more coverage and a lot more glow. Here's my concoction on my little mixing palette. I think I'm actually going to apply it with my spatula just to get an even distribution, and I'm going to blend that with the Sonia G Classic base. I can already see that the luminizer really cut the formula quite a bit. I know Eldridge recommends just a couple of drops. I think a couple of drops is not quite enough, so I added 6 drops and 1 pump of the Glow Lust. If you're curious what I had on my skin prior to beginning, I just had a couple of simple skincare products, the Haru Haru Wonder, and this is the Black Rice Probiotics Barrier Essence. And I had my Touch and Soul Glassy Skin Balm. This is really similar to the Tatcha Dewy Skin Cream, to the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream, products like that. I'm happy with the coverage so far. The only thing I wish is I had it stick to my nose a little bit more. I don't feel that it's sticking to my nose very well. I applied just a tiny bit more to my brush. I'm gonna let it sit on my nose for a little bit while I bring this downward, just to make sure that I have a nice blend. I do have a concealer on my wish list. However, I did recently order that from Ulta Beauty because it's my birthday month and we get 2 times the points. Plus they had 5 times the points on Dior and I thought it was a perfect time. Plus I had a $10 off coupon for my birthday. The timing was perfect. So that concealer is the Dior concealer and I've seen my friend Miriam A. It's her favorite concealer and I really wanted to try it. So for today I'm just going to be using my Natasha Denona High Glam concealer. This is my favorite concealer, so we'll see how they do when I get the new one in the mail. Concealer is applied and I set that with the Tarte Creaseless Setting Powder. I've been really enjoying this one in the shade Lavender. I do have a bronzer on my wish list and it is the new reformulated one by Dior. I almost bought that one too since I had that 5 times points, etc., but I did not. I resisted because I recently started using this bronzer by Lancome. It is the CE Skin Transforming Bronzer. I have mine in the shade number 2 Light and I've really been enjoying this bronzer. Of the Dior bronzers, they have 2 formulas. They have a matte and then they have a glowy version, but on Sephora and Ulta they only have the matte version. So if I was going to order it from them, I would have had a matte version and this one is already a matte version. Not only that, I've also mentioned how this bronzer is very similar to the one from YSL, which I also have. I'm going to apply this one with my Wayne Goss number 1 brush from his new collector's edition set. I saw that he's going to release another brush from his, what do they call it? The first edition? He's going to release one of those brushes in a limited edition color, which is nice. Now, even though the bronzer is looking luminous, don't forget I did apply a lot of luminous products when I started. And so those are kind of peeking through, but don't forget, but this is a matte bronzer. It's a very nice shade too. I didn't set the skin tint or anything, and you can see that it's still applying really nicely over it. The only area that I set was underneath my eyes. It looks almost airbrushed. It's such a nice bronzer, so really, why do I need a new one? It's really just curiosity, honestly. I don't have a highlighter on my wish list, although I'm curious about the ones from Dior. Very curious about Dior lately, but I do have this one from Hindash, and this is the one I will be applying today. Now for blush, on my wish list, I do have the ones from Violette FR, which just recently became available on Sephora. I understand that her hero product in her brand are the cream blushes. I have one on my wish list to try, but I do have a lot of cream blushes. I have this one from Persona Cosmetics. It's in the shade Guava. As you can see, it's never even been used. Here's the packaging. Nothing fancy with the packaging. It's a little more peachy than I had anticipated for the look that I have in mind, but we'll see if we can make it work. I expected something more like what's on the packaging. Let's see. Not quite the same. We'll see how it looks when applied to the skin. Because I'm not familiar with the formula, I don't want to go directly on the face. I'm just going to apply some to the back of my hand. It's very emollient. I'm going to pick it up with my Sonia G S1 Sheer Buffer. Oh, I think this is going to go really well with the colors that I had in mind, especially for my lip product. It's not as orange as it looked, or terracotta as it looked in the pan. It looks really nice. Don't mind Freddy if you hear him barking. I opened the window because it's unusually warm for this time of year in Chicago. Some people have their dogs outside and they're barking, and of course Freddy has to protect and scare them away. So far I'm happy with everything on my face except for the way that my foundation is looking on my nose. That's not so great today. Quick brow break. Alright, so what has happened in the last seconds since I spoke to you through the magic of editing? I did my eyebrows, which they're okay today, distant cousins maybe. I also applied finishing powder from the Holiday Evil Eye palette. It is the shade Soft Light, just that one right there. And then I went in with my setting spray. This is the one from Charlotte Tilbury, which incidentally, I think that this had like a very brief recall. I was reading it on Reddit, and some people who work at Sephora were commenting, allegedly they work at Sephora. On Reddit, it could be anyone, right? But they were saying that there was nothing wrong with the product itself, that it had to do with the packaging. And I kind of believe that because I had a mini of this where the pump went really bad. I could no longer depress it no matter what. I even removed it and I tried rinsing it off with warm water and nothing. So I've been actually transferring the contents of that spray bottle into this one, which the pump still works fine. So the next product on my wish list is kind of a silly one. I mentioned in my last video where I was trying out the Natasha Denona Bloom palette, how I collect Natasha Denona palettes. I have almost all of them. And so the item that's on my wish list, it's been on my wish list, is the Natasha Denona Mini Eye Sculpt palette. And it is so silly. Just by looking through my eyeshadow palette collection briefly, I found a variety of items I could use. Check out this one, the LC Cosmetics. This is the Minimalist palette. It's been in my collection for a very long time. I have the Makeup by Mario. This is the Master Mattes, the Neutral palette. That's what that one looks like. I could definitely use this in its stead. This one from Busy Art. This is the Neutral Matte palette. That could satisfy. This is another one, the Hindash. This is the original Beautopsy palette. It definitely serve all the functions of that Natasha Denona palette. And within Natasha Denona's collection herself, even though it's not like exactly all the same shades, I definitely have a few. This one is the Safari Matte palette. Is that what it was called? You know, we have an eggshell. We have some neutrals here. So really, I could use any of these palettes and serve the same exact purpose as that mini palette. I resisted buying the mini rose palette, but I actually ended up getting that one in my Beautylish Lucky Bag this year, so I have that one too. I think I'll go ahead and I'll use the Busy Art palette. I'm not doing anything crazy today, honestly, because I want to use a different eyeshadow on the lid. I'm going to go in with a combination of these two shades just all over my lid. One of the reasons why I selected Viseart is because they have very little fallout, and I did my complexion first today, as you can see, which I hardly ever do actually. I like to use a lot of shimmers on my eyes, and so I frequently will do my eyeshadow first just to avoid fallout or to avoid having to be so careful. I'm using the Wayne Goss number 4 brush for that. I thought I wasn't going to even be using this brush that much, and turns out I used it a lot more than I thought I would. Next, I'm just going to give my eyes some shape. Maybe a combination of those two shades right there. I'm using a Sonia GT4 brush for this. I like the way that's looking. Now I'm going to go in with this brown shade underneath my lower lash line. And just to diffuse that, I'll go in with that shade. I'm brightening the inner corner with this matte shade, and it's a Sonia G S1 brush. This is a pretty good look in my opinion already, but I do want to use a color on the lids, also inspired by my wish list. So the last item on my wish list is the Chanel Mono Shadow in the shade Eau de Menthe. I think it's like mint water. It's a beautiful green shade, but those single shadows are expensive. I don't have any. I've never tried any of those. I've tried the Chanel formula in the palettes, but not the single shadows. It's a green shade, a lighter green shade, kind of a satiny shade. It's a green shade. I've never seen it in person, only on YouTube videos, but I have this dinosaur, the Natasha Denona green brown palette. It's a couple of green shades in here. I don't think any of them are exactly the shade that I'm looking for, which is, it's got a little more blue in it. Maybe this might be the most similar. That one is in the shade Tropic. I just wanted to share that this is one option that can definitely fit that bill, but I wanted to use one of these Charlotte Tilbury Beautifying Eye Trends palettes. This one is in the shade Emerald Effect. That's what that one looks like. So I wanted to focus on these two shades right here and use a combination of the two to get a similar look. So the finishes are Crystal Pop and Diamond Dimension. Let's go ahead and get our fingers in there, because with these shadows, you really have to swatch them to get a feel for how the color is going to look. Here's what they look like. I don't think they're 100% low dement, but I think they'll do. I think I can definitely get the eye look that I'm going for with these shades. I could have also mostly created the eye look I'm wearing so far with the mattes in this palette, but I wanted to show like fair substitutes for that mini eye sculpt palette, which I think this is a fantastic one that I already have in my collection. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this shade all over my eyes, top it with that one, maybe put this one on the inner corner. I haven't decided yet. Because I already did my base, I'm going to use the Pat McGrath Labs Intensifies wand. I have played with some of the other palettes in the collection, and I haven't found that I needed a sticky base when working with them, but again, because I did my foundation already, I don't want to take any chances. I'm going to also use the Wayne Goss brush number 10, which I have found picks up shimmer shadows so well. And I'm just applying a very light layer. I don't think it's a little bit more emerald than Eau de Menthe, but I think once I put that topper, it's going to look nice. Maybe a little more similar. What a pretty shade, right? This is such a pretty color. I really like the way it looks on the eyes. It has really multi-dimensional shimmers in it too. All right, now let's go into the Diamond Dimension shade, and I'm just going to go in with my finger for that one, and I'm going to apply it right in the center. Very nice. This one is helping to pull in a little bit more of the aqua tones. It lightens it up considerably if you compare the two. Now I realize some might consider it cheating to use a relatively new product in this little project, but I have to do my February haul, and this is something I bought in February, and I wanted to use as many of those products as possible so that when I show you everything I bought in February, I can also let you know how they worked out. I'm debating on doing some liner, definitely mascara, and I want to use waterline brightener. So I'm going to take care of all those steps and be right back. So I put the finishing touches on the eye look. What I did was I applied the Kulfi eyeliner on the top waterline to tightline. I used the Victoria Beckham eye brightener on the lower lash line. Rare Beauty eyeliner to create the wing liner. I just wanted something a little dramatic to emphasize the color that we had going on. And my mascaras are a combination of the Refi and the Rare Beauty. The Refi I used for separation, Rare Beauty I used for volume. Because I had wing liner, I thought I needed something a little bit more, and the Refi wasn't doing it 100%. So for a lip product, in the spirit of using and enjoying our own collections, I pulled out a little treasure that I feel so lucky to have. This is the Lisa Eldridge lipstick in the shade Go Lightly. And she made this with her first release, I think. It's sold out completely. It's never come back. She has a version kind of inspired by this in her new refillable compact line. I haven't picked up one of those lipsticks yet, even though I really, really want to. But anyway, this is the lipstick we're going to enjoy today. I want to pull out the peachy vibes. It has a tendency to go pink on me. So I pulled out a couple of lip liner options. I have this one from Gerard in the shade Peachy Keen, and then I have this one from Lisa Eldridge in the shade Dragon. I'm going to start with the lip product and then manipulate it with the lip liner as needed. You see how it has a tendency to go pink? I wanted to match the blush color a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead with Dragon and I'm going to blend it together. So here is your finished look. I like how everything turned out. Actually, I'm still, a little upset about the nose, but it probably just means that it's time to use the Sukari Baby Facial again. Whenever I have that problem of foundation not sticking to my nose, usually it's because I have dry patches there. But other than that, I think everything else came together pretty well. You do have to manipulate the lipstick. I almost always do because my lips are so pigmented. But I do think that the shade turned out to blend with the cheek color really nicely and to just emphasize that I'm wearing, kind of a brighter makeup look, but still wearable for spring. I'm going to fix my hair and I will be back for my final thoughts. So this is the completed look. I'm really excited about the way that it turned out. I had a lot of fun playing with my existing makeup collection and looking for those potential substitutes that I could make instead of bringing even more makeup into my collection. I'd love to know what you think about the substitutions that I made if you have the actual products that I have on my wish list. I'd love to know if you think the substitutions were pretty good or if you think that those items really have something additional to offer. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and it inspired you to explore your own collection as well instead of always looking for the new. Thank you so much for joining me for yet another video. I hope you did enjoy this one, and if so, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up for me. That really helps my channel. And if you haven't subscribed already, I would love to have you join our little makeup family. So hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell if you'd like to be notified every single time I upload. I've been averaging 2 to 3 videos a week. Thanks again for spending a few minutes of your day with me. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you again very, very soon on my next one. Bye-bye.